Tucker Poolman's game in the games that he's played for you during the regular season?
He's got a real calmness to his game, a lot of poise. I think he plays a very patient game, and it's a great thing to see out of a young guy. Who doesn't get rattled. I mean, even his first game in Edmonton, there, we were 0-2 at the time, kind of reeling, and just stood right in there and did a great job.
Blake, in talking with their team, it seems like their belief is that really tight, aggressive gaps are what they need to do to succeed. As a speedy player and a speedy team, what kind of opportunity may that present?
That's the game we play as well, and so I think when you see a team, you play against Chicago a lot. That's what they try to do. That's just a lot of pucks in behind them. Their gaps are only as good as you want to be with the puck, and if you want to try to make plays in front of them, it's tough. But you put pucks in behind them with fast forwards and make their defensemen turn, make their good players turn and go retrieve pucks in their zone and break them out 200 feet. That can be a little bit irritating to play.
Some of the players on their team feel that the refs sent a message in that last game, not just for that game, but for this series, that all the extracurriculars are not going to be allowed going forward. Is that the message that you and your team have received?
Well, you know what? I think even around the league, you look at the playoff series, and the first two games were, physical and bordering on, maybe a little bit crossing the line. Players getting hurt, guys elbowing guys in the head and hitting guys when they're on their knees. I think we all want to play hard. We all want to finish every check, play within the lines and the rules, and I think they're trying to clean some of that stuff up. Let the guys hit each other as hard as they want, but the BS, that there's no place for that. So I think they're trying to clean up some of that stuff.
So because
back this year, what kind of things have you seen in the team when they come back from a loss that makes you guys handle that adversity well this year?
I think just we know that we were not playing our best game, last game here. So I think the key is just try to be faster. I think all the things are going to work out well on the ice if we're just playing faster. And I think that's just something we need to do tonight.
Is it as simple as just looking after your chances too, right? I mean, the Wild were able to do that in Game 3, and first 2 games I think you guys did that better than you did in Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, we were in the first 2. We were not giving them not much chances, but like the Game 3, we were not on the puck. We were just giving them a lot of ice to skate on, and that's just they have a good team too. Like if they give them a lot of room, they're gonna make us pay. So we just gotta play tight gap and play faster.
Is there anything you've learned about playoff hockey now, 3 games in, to your experience?
Well, not that much. It's just faster and just more physical than maybe than the regular season. But I think that's pretty much it.
How do you feel about your series so far?
I mean, the first 2, like I think it was same with everybody. That the first 2 was really good, but now the third one was kind of an off game for us. So as like including myself, I gotta be able to bounce back from the loss. Just play faster and be harder on the puck.
Some people have talked about your crazy travel to get in here. Have you got any ideas as to why everybody seemed a bit slower on Sunday?
Nope. I don't know. Like it's just like it was just a hard game to play on. They were really good. I'm not saying that, but I don't know why we were slow, but I don't have just one reason why we were slow, but we gotta be able to play better than that.
Did you tell early in the game that it was
Success to be able to bounce back from losses similar to the one that you guys had in Game 3 that gives the dressing room confidence going into Game 4?
Well, I mean, you just have to be able to park it. Obviously, wasn't the way we play. I don't think we weren't fast enough. We didn't execute, and in the past throughout this year, obviously you're going to have those games over the course of a long season, and playoffs are no different. So it's all about getting back to what we do well, understanding that when we play fast and play at a high pace and play aggressive hockey, that's when we're successful, and that's really the template for us, tonight again in a brand new Game 4.
They're a team that, similar to you guys, likes to play tight gaps. So as a defenseman, when forwards are bearing down on you on a forecheck or in any situation where you're facing that kind of gap, what kinds of things can you do to be able to break that, to be able to create some space?
It's playoff hockey, so everybody's aggressive. The Wild have an aggressive forecheck. Everyone's trying to be physical on the forecheck. Big hits are great, but everyone's trying to separate the puck and get the puck back on the forecheck. So the faster we can get back there as defensemen, and then also have our options back there in a hurry through our partner or our forwards coming back, where you have shorter passes, quicker passes to make, and those little things simplify the game. But I think everything stems from playing at a high pace. Puck gets dumped in, or you see a loose puck getting on in a hurry and getting going the other way.
A lot of talk in the first Game 3 about the first 10 minutes, especially with them being back on home ice. Is being through that experience in this building, in the playoff atmosphere, helpful going into Game 4?
Obviously for a lot of us, first experience playing on the road in the playoffs, and I think that's something where they have a great fan base here. They were rocking in Game 3, and expect much of the same tonight. But like I said, for us, it really doesn't change the way we have to play. Like I said, we were off it with our speed last game, and that's the biggest thing for us, is playing at a high tempo, and that's the way we have to play tonight.
Josh, what have you seen? I know it's game time decision, but if Tucker does end up playing his first playoff game tonight, what have you seen from this year that gives you confidence he's going to be okay there tonight?
Yeah, Pooley's a great player. He can play physical. He moves the puck really well. He skates really well. He's a calm guy. Nothing seems to faze him. So, he's ready to play. I mean, he's done a great job for us this year, and I'm all the confidence in the world to see him playing out there. Thanks.
Connor Helba got a lot of attention for letting in 6 and being pulled. What can your team do better to make him better?
You know, all the things that we talked about yesterday remain true. We have a certain pace and cadence that we play at, and when we do, it makes all parts of our game right. It also gives the goaltender a chance to see the shots he's supposed to see from where he's supposed to see them. So everything that we do in front of him is important for him to play as well as he can. I don't think I know for a fact we weren't where we needed to be in that game to give our goaltender a chance.
They see he's screened by his own guys a few times.
We've got some big bodies in front of him.
Big stage for Tucker Pullman tonight if he's going in. What's that like for him? He's playing, it's a city that's not that far away from where he's from. Good opportunity for him.
Well, in the new NHL, regardless of where a player is born, mom, dad, and family get an opportunity to see the game. So we've had all young players that have come in into the playoffs, either their first playoff game or inserted into the lineup, bring a set of nerves with them, and it's a gate they have to pass through to get to play regularly in playoffs in the NHL, and they've all done well. So any kids that come in, we expect that from them.
They always say that it's, talking to any of them that have spawned into the first one, whether it was regular season or playoffs, that you have to keep it simple and all that stuff. But it's easy to say, but how do you as a coach sort of manage that, help them manage that?
You keep it simple because there's less time in the playoffs to do anything more creative. There's just not as much room on the ice. The intensity of checking, not just the physicality, the intensity of the speed of checking increases to a point. There's nothing left but the simple movement of the puck, the quick decision. So you would have to start in August, that right from who you are, the game that your team plays well, you would have solidified that to make the playoffs. You would have an understanding of what that game is, and what we're talking about with any player is age-wise is true of our team. It's how we play.
How does Tucker manage the off-ice part, like being out of the lineup so much for a guy who's used to playing so much?
Go back to look at the start of the year, Ben Sherrod out for long stretches, Mark O'Donnell. A number of players here have sat for long stretches and come in and been right. So the player first has focused when he was out in his practices, make your practices your games. That's the standard line for us. I think our off-ice staff and our coaches that work with the players after do a really nice job. It's not just about conditioning, but trying to keep the hands and the mind in the right framework so that it's not as big a jump when they come out from a long absence.
Is it harder for a rookie though?
It would be harder for anybody that hasn't become their game. So there wouldn't be any rookies in the NHL that would have been in that situation before. So there are certain players after a number of years in the NHL that have found themselves usually fourth-line guys or lower pairing defensemen that are out for a block. They understand it. They know what they need to do. And the staying in the National Hockey League probably drives them. The idea that if they weren't right when they came back in, it might be somebody else that gets the next call up. So it's something that you develop over time. So it would be more difficult for a player like that, yeah.
What can this experience for Sam Unique be like, whether he's in or not, just being around your group in a playoff setting?
I think really important to watch it. So he comes into Montreal having not played an NHL game, and we're talking about the speed of the game and all those things, and it would be a ways away from the speed and the intensity of this game here. Every little piece of information for those young players that they can get moves them closer to being comfortable when they do get the chance.
How does the tightness of a dressing room translate to the ice, or is that an intangible that gets overblown?
No, I think it's the critical piece, by far. I had a long conversation about that with a fellow by the name of John Rempel, who just won the national championship in Canada with the women's Bison team, and decided that, the coach's intensity, whether you wind a team up or you have that ability to wind a team up, is so secondary to how the players feel about themselves. I'm sure you're going to pull a baseball team out of the 60s that hated each other. I know there's a reference to that, but they care about each other. They talk to each other. They create bonds that eventually mean they don't want to let each other down, just as would be true of any relationship that you have with somebody that you're close to. The closer you are, the more you're willing to sacrifice for that person. And it's true in the locker room, too. It's a close-knit group will sacrifice more for each other.
Is this the tightest group you've coached?
You know what? It's hard to tell for the coach, I think, and truly. So I've always said with our group, I like the way they move around. I watch how they allow the young kids to come in and fit into it. But we're not in that room. right? Most of the really good stories we never hear. We can hear the laughter on the other side of a door, but you never really get the good stuff. That's why the next best place to play is in the coaches, okay? Because we got our own jokes about them, and they have their jokes about us. So it would be, you know, so the easy answer is, yeah, this is the closest group I've ever had, but I don't know that the coach truly knows all the really good stuff.
Is there a way to foster that, or you just cross your fingers and hope it happens?
Right, there's that's team building, right? All that stuff. We don't, you know, falling into somebody's arms and not letting them drop so they trust you. We don't do any of that stuff. I think fun has the biggest part of it. There are days where they get together. I don't think any team that has a Super Bowl party, that was always my indicator. If they were having a Super Bowl party, they were a close-knit team, and if they weren't, if they let that go, we were in a little bit of trouble. I don't know if it holds true. We had one this year, so we're good. Sure, you try to create it. From the coach's point of view, you're always going to be in a better mood when you're winning. The players are. So more of that good. It's easier to come to the rink in a good mood every day. So that's probably where the coach's impact on that, create an environment. And then in the tough days, that's where we team build, right? When you've strung some losses together, you don't things aren't as good coming to the rink. That's when maybe the coach has an influence on how the room feels about each other.
The absence of a Tyler Myers, he's got 2 goals in the series. I mean, what impact is that?
I don't know. I'm going to have to wait to see if he plays tonight to find out.
Back to the previous point, you're talking about the fun in the room. How much of a secret weapon is Dustin Bufflin to that end?
So there's the third piece, if you will, or one of the 3 pieces to our captaincy. We have different personalities on all 3 of those captains, and his is really important. What you don't know about Dustin is how intense he is. You know, I mean, he's so in the most intense part of the game, the cameraman on him have a great big, you know, missing tooth grin, and you think he's casual, and he's the exact opposite. And it's true of practice as well. Like, he's barking up and down the ice, making fun of people, but intense with his work. But you need a guy in there that when it is a little bit tight, can say enough things that are funny to loosen the group up, and he does a pretty good job of that. And that's players, coaches, trainers, owners, everybody gets a little piece of Dustin at some point.
Expecting Tyler to be back in Minnesota, sorry, Paul?
What's that?
Are you expecting Tyler to be back?
I have no expectations. I'm going to come to the rink and put 20 guys on the ice. We're all going to be good.
All right, guys.
All right, then.
Thanks, Paul.